it's fine. Okay, so Rob and I are going to kind of alternate each and every screen, but this is pretty much a presentation on sponsoring, which is the heart of Exit. Large number of individuals who never make a living, no retirement parties for realtors. This is pretty much saying, like, outside of just buying and selling, most successful people in the world have multiple streams of income. And Exit has a unique kind of formula that allows people that opportunity to either kind of bring someone to the company who might not be happy where they are or not thriving as much. And it's a double incentive. They're going to be doing better, more positive environment, and you'll be making money off of every sale you hit. So if you guys just want to take out a piece of paper and write down on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your confidence to sponsor new members into Exit? And just write a brief explanation. Okay. We'll move on to that. So Rob, do you want to read this next one?
Yeah, so what is sponsoring? And someone touched on it earlier, Bernadette, with your door knocking, it's relationship building with other agents. So whether it's someone you're working on a deal with, someone you just know from the class you took or whatever, and it doesn't have to be just in our area. This is a good opportunity to talk, like I did my courses in Orlando, and I have good relationships with now a lot of the brokers in that area and whatnot. It's always about building the relationship with other agents and keeping in touch with them, because you never know when they're going to be unhappy at their current situation. September is actually the #1 month for people wanting to make a move. So that's why we're having this conversation now, because in about a month, a lot of opportunities might come your way with people that have networked with. And if you start having those conversations about what you offer, what we offer, and how you kind of go about your business, you might have some good opportunities to get some sponsors next month. And as I said, it doesn't mean that it has to be with our brokerage itself. If you know anyone across the United States or Canada, you have the opportunity to sponsor them to that local brokerage. And the way I would say is always make sure that you put it in writing to that broker. Hey, I'm introducing you to John Smith. They potentially want to hang their license with you. Here's their phone number. Please set up a meeting, and then you'll get that sponsorship. So, what some of the things you want to do and you want to keep in mind is you want to produce knowledge. So you want to share with the other agents the incredible tools that we have at our disposal. Just this morning, for instance, my AC guy at one of my networking groups stood up and was talking about how he wanted to develop something like, where they could just easily send out their business card, cell phone to cell phone. And so it was really cool, because part of my speech this morning was having everyone take out their cell phone and getting in touch with the mobile device. So to get my mobile business card. And so everyone did it right there in front of me. It was really impressive. And it was just kind of cool, because 5 minutes before that, someone was requesting that technology. So knowing all the tools that are at your disposal, really get in touch with the resource center, understand what we have to offer. And so that way when a problem is identified with another agent who's saying, hey, I really wish we had better technology at my company, blah, 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 you now have a solution for them, and it opens up a door. So that brings up the next point, finding their pain points. Those are the problems. And then all you have to do as the agent is set up a time for them to come meet with Colleen or myself. And then if we end up recruiting them on, they come work for us, you get the sponsorship, and that's how that works. So it's not like you have to do a whole lot of selling. You're really just introducing the opportunity for them to solve their problem where they have a deficiency at their current brokerage. And if we meet their needs and is a good fit, then everyone's happy and they're over with us, and you're making residual income. So these are all the, we talk about it a lot. You see at this bottom left-hand corner, you have the mobile business card. You've got a bunch of, easy access. Every agent gets their own website. You have an Exit Connect app that you can offer your clients. We've got buyer guides, seller guides. Remember to use that. There's that recruiting sponsor guide as well that you can send to potential recruits. That is really, it's the same thing as if you're talking to a buyer or seller, that they have this now presentation they can look through of all the things that we offer. And you can just send that and say, hey, take a look at this. If you're interested, let me know. I'd love to set you up with my broker. Our Smart Sign technology is a really good way for everyone to say, hey, listen, how many more deals could you think you can do by just putting a sign in the yard that actually drives traffic back to your mobile device? So, if they're standing in front of that house, that client's standing in front of that house and texting exit to 85377, they're automatically getting information about that property downloaded onto their phone. And then you, as the listing agent, are getting a notification that's saying, hey, this person's standing in front of the house looking for more information. And generally, when you ask people the question, how many more deals do you think you can do on an annual basis? They give you about, they'll say like 4 to 6. And so then you can help them do the math is what that means to their bottom line.
Rob, can I interject real quick?
Yep.
No, just sorry, just before I forget to do it. So a lot of independent, smaller brokerages don't have nearly, I don't even think really any of this stuff in place. They don't have the presentations up here. They don't have the mobile business cards. No one has the geolocation signs. And these are just free lead gen systems. Like, this is free processes in place, beautifully designed, customizable. And it's just really just time is money in this world. And it's just speeds up your real estate transactions, your processes, because it's already in place. And so a lot of the smaller brokerages don't have this. And if the bigger brokerages, the ones that do, they are not taking the time to walk you through it like Rob and I do. So it's twofold. So you can literally recruit on all levels, independent versus big, just because they don't have the support at the bigger ones and they don't have the tools at the smaller ones.
And just one last thing on the technology. Us versus other companies that do have the technology is our technology is all developed within Exit. Mm-hmm. So when you're calling and getting support, you're calling people that actually had a hand in developing the technology so they can answer at a different level. Whereas some of our other competitors, in particular KW, they've gone through vendors every other couple of years and they have to learn and retrain and whatever on all these other systems. And then they have this new system that, from what I've heard, is a disaster on the rollout. Uh-huh. So they have all the technology, but their technology tends to be not something that their agents are ending up being able to use, specifically because of, just their consistent turnover of what they're using in their vendors. So that's a really important tip when you're talking to, especially like a KW person or any of these other bigger firms, is our technology is developed in-house. And so you're getting people on the support that are in-house, and they're not just reading out of a manual what needs to happen. They've actually got knowledge to be able to fix the problem if there is one.
Right. Any questions so far? No? Cool. Okay. Rob, do you want to go over this slide?
Yeah, so basically this slide is telling you exactly what you're going to be earning if you have, per sponsor that you have. So you can kind of just read the numbers there. 8 closings. If you have 10 members and they're 8 closing each, generating $600, that's $48,000. So, and you can see year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's a really cool tool on Exit that you can get. It's the calculator. So you can play around with it. You can actually put in the number of people that you want to sponsor. And then, if you don't know the average closing, just use your own average closing paycheck. And then it will kick out the number that's worth to you over the next 5 years. And you'll be surprised. I know there's stories of people that have bought 2 cars just by their exit residuals and swiping the card that they had at the time when they were doing those debit cards. So there's a lot of flexibility to it. So, this just gives you a good indication of what you can make with sponsoring.
Yep. One of our friends, Scott Steger, he put his daughter through college. So it's really just kind of just figuring out a way of tying, especially now with the listings being so down, like inventory being so down, agents are going to get frustrated and they're going to start looking at other brokerages. Now is the time to really start just talking to people and just seeing if you can set up just a meeting with either Rob or I and just seeing if it would be a good fit, see if we can help their career. But they're definitely within the next month, is a fantastic time to really start honing in on bringing in your first sponsor if you don't have one, or bringing in your second or third if you already do. So, Rob, do you want to read this?
So the limiting beliefs, and there's a really good quote that I came across by Bob Berg that kind of speaks to this. What you focus on is what you get. So if you're focusing on negative things and things that you're saying I can't do, you're not going to be able to do it. Those kind of things are really deterrents of what you're doing. So, sponsoring is a great opportunity. A really good question to ask yourself: why am I not doing it? If this is something that can give you that disposable income, and you're having trouble doing it, ask yourself why. And the answer is 9 times out of 10 going to be a limiting belief. Actually, 10 times out of 10. I'm not even going to give you 9 times out of 10. It's always going to be a limiting belief, and it's I don't have enough time, or I can't do that. No one's going to want to talk to me about moving brokerages, or it's not the best time for that. And you're making decisions for other people, but in the reality, what you're really doing is you're just scared to get rejected. Again, we talk about it all the time. It's a fear of rejection. And guess what? I can guarantee you that if you're approaching someone and offering them an opportunity, they're not going to be mad at you. Mm-hmm. They might say, oh, I'm very happy where I am at this time. But at the same point, they're still going to respect you for giving them the opportunity and telling them about another potential that's out there for them if they're not happy. So, and that these are all the excuses that will come up. Colleen, if you want to go through these.
Yeah, just in a nutshell. And the limit, it's any time that you say you can't do anything is really, in a nutshell, any time that you say it's not possible. And then whatever excuse that follows it. These are limiting about sponsoring. They don't like exit. They don't know me. These are like, most of the time, these are assumptions. And then it's ultimately just showing them about another opportunity. But if you start it off negatively in your head, it really diminishes the chances of you even having them listen to you, but also presenting the opportunity in the most favorable light that's going to make them switch. It starts really with you, and then in your mindset and believing that you can bring someone into the company, because it's an incredible company. I've grown so much since I've been in it, and it really, it's unlimited potential. And once you really start believing in that, and you start, they say, bleeding exit, people will be attracted to that.
So real quick, before we move on to the next slide, I want to ask everyone, what's your biggest fear about inviting people into exit? And you can unmute yourself if you have one. Bonnie doesn't have one. She's already got a sponsor. Debbie's been working on it. Kim's got a couple of sponsors. So does anyone have a fear that they want to talk about?
Or who hasn't sponsored someone, and why might that be the case, why you haven't?
Or is there someone that you've been working on that you're having trouble getting over the fence? Bonnie? Are you having any trouble with anyone?
Well, that might be your problem, not mine.
I mean, that would be my problem.
I'm talking to Ryan, but he's not budging.
Oh, that one, yeah.
That one.
Yeah. Well, he's also getting fed high quality leads now.
Yes, but that's okay. I will hand it right over to you. If I can be successful in getting him to come over and it's yours, that's okay with me. Life is too short.
I think I'm golfing with him tomorrow or Thursday.
What else are we talking about?
You had a couple that were in your pipeline.
Yeah, no, okay. No, I have nothing yet to report.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks for the info, Bonnie.
Yeah, thanks,
Um,
buddy.
Appreciate it. Yeah, but so everyone's not fair, so everyone on this call then, yeah, I'm taking that as you're not afraid of inviting, so I'm looking forward to the meetings that you're gonna set up for us in the next couple of weeks. So, great. All right, we can move on to the next slide. All right, so what to do? So first step is you need to recognize that you have
Limited
the fears and you have the limiting beliefs. And then you need to shift that limiting belief mentality to a can-do attitude. And this is kind of both with recruiting, with sales in general. So you can kind of globalize this a little bit. But if you're struggling in any aspect of the industry right now, it's probably because you have a limiting belief of what you can and can't accomplish. So shift that into a can-do attitude. So nothing is a problem. Nothing is too big of an obstacle that you can't overcome. And if you're having a problem doing that, I suggest you give me a call and we can definitely have a conversation and I'll help you guide down the path of shifting that mentality. That's not a problem. So the third step is write down your daily affirmations. So say you're having a problem with, I don't feel like I have enough time during the day. Well, a daily affirmation is changing that mentality by saying, I do have enough time. And, I am worth setting my time up to make myself successful. I am successful. Those kind of things, whatever your limited belief is, you can correct by a daily affirmation. Steve Morris, the founder of our company, always talks about daily affirmations. And he talks about the brain kind of being a fusion. So if you've gone on years and years of negative belief and limited, you now have this fused like almost a rope. And so it takes 20, 30 times of you saying this over and over again to unravel that limiting self-belief, and then starting to re-ravel the can-do attitude and the self-belief of what you want to kind of undo. So, it definitely takes work. It's not going to happen over, one time of saying it. So you want to say it over and over, reinforce it, and then it gets into your mental memory, becomes that muscle memory, and then all of a sudden it becomes second nature, and you're going to start seeing different results. And, guys, I was always not a believer of this stuff before Colleen and I started putting these things into play. And I'll tell you what, it does change your, whatever is going wrong and whatever you think is a negative in your career right now, it will change it. Give it a week of doing that same thing over and over again and reinforcing the good belief and, getting rid of that negative belief, and you'll change your results in a matter of a week. It really does work. So give it a try. If you have something that you're not liking in your business right now, try doing those affirmations and just changing your mindset. Fourth step is watch that 4-minute million video. Just text 4MM to that 85377 number. It gives you that YouTube link. It's a really good video that describes what we're talking about. And a good way to, if someone asks, well, what's this sponsorship thing about? It's a good way for you to be able to explain it really quick. And then this fifth step is to visualize yourself receiving that sponsorship bonus. There's nothing like motivation of, you visioning getting that check for $3,000 because someone just made a sale that's on your sponsorship level. So that's that. So visualize it for sure.
Okay, so this is kind of just like brief, just pictures of just visualizing all the things that will come from you bringing someone to the company. Like you can help your son go to school, college tuition, you can pay for your daughter's wedding, you can go on that trip you've always wanted. Whatever is going to kind of motivate you, it's going to be different for everyone, but what's going to motivate you to, become shameless, and not shameless, but just approach more agents. I love saying shameless, but approach more agents with an opportunity. You never know. I mean, you ask people and then all of a sudden one day it's going to happen. And it's going to be the most incredible thing. I can't tell you if you some of you haven't experienced yet, getting that sponsorship bonus for doing nothing. It's just, I want everyone to feel it. My goal is to help you guys get a sponsor because there's nothing like it. So this is like, so retirement. So essentially no other companies really have retirement benefits in real estate besides exit. And this, it's twofold. It's giving you something now, it's giving you something in the future. Just by help bringing people in. Lifestyle, whatever your niche is, if you need to put it up on the board, like mine is my kids, and just kind of looking at their future, it drives me every day to make calls and bring people in. So there's simple approaches. You can talk to new agents. They don't even have to be, if they're good in sales. I know Kim's done this a few times. So she goes up to people, she sees that they're good in sales. I think we did it at Macy's. Just tells them, hey, you'd be really good in real estate. You ever think about selling something bigger? You just planted that seed. You just complimented them and just told them about another opportunity. We've literally given our cards out just by stuff like that.
Waiters and waitresses are big on that as well.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Networking. This is a big Rob area. Rob, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So Colleen calls me, calls them my groupies. So, I do a lot of group networking, whether it's Rotary, whether it's BNI, whether it's Chamber of Commerce. And Deb is also a very big networker and it works for her. So if you're looking to build relationships, this is the best way to do it because you're in front of people every week, at least once, and you stay top of mind. So that's really what the premise is on behind it. And you really get a chance to, get in front of these people and then put it together to maybe go on a one-on-one and really develop that and cultivate that relationship with the people that you feel can really help your business or you can really help theirs. So, that's a big caveat to it too, is if you're kind of giving to them, they're going to want to get back to you. So, those are some of those groupie things that Colleen will call them, are highly beneficial for long-term sustainable business plans.
Yeah. And Kit, you've done a lot with 3, right? You've taken a lot of people out for lunch and whatnot. Has that been your greatest return?
Well, I think one thing that comes to mind that might be a simple thing and Heather's on the call, so she's a perfect example. Heather is somebody that I had just switched over not too long from Keller Williams to Exit, and I had my sister's house as a listing. I was a couple of years into the business, and Heather came and brought clients as a brand, literally like 2 weeks in the business, as a brand spanking new agent. And she had a baby on her hip, and she was, going against all odds, showing this property. And we just started chatting. And so, like the girl in Macy's, but more so, I just was immediately just drawn to her and realized that this one's going to be a superstar someday. And she is. But just for everybody else, I think it's good to know that if you have a listing or if you're showing a property that somebody else has a listing, that's an opportunity for sponsorship too, because you develop a relationship with that person as you're showing that property and you're right there one-on-one. If you're doing a transaction with somebody, that's another option because then they can see how you are to actually work with. And whether it happens right away or whether you just do a little seed planting or whatever, that's fine. But comparatively speaking, just using only one person, Heather, might be the one person. I've got a couple that if I were at Keller Williams, I might be making $200 with the Exit, plan. I think it's probably more like $5,000. Mm-hmm. So there's a big difference in what comes back. And what I liked about it is I'm not taking money out of Heather's pocket. It's coming out of corporate, that extra 10% that goes up to corporate and the brokerage, which, gives that residual money. So that's another really big plus, because at Keller, it's profit sharing, number one. So anything they spend on party favors or cups or toilet paper in the office takes away from whatever you're going to get. Plus, it's not single level, it's multi-level. So you're going to have, 10 people that have sponsored whoever sponsored to fund the U. And that takes a piece of the action with each one of those people. And that's just one company that does do something kind of similar.
Right. They have the similar, they're the only ones that have a similar thing to us, but it's profit sharing, not production. And we're production. So that's the primary difference. Yes, Bonnie?
I will share what my tactic is, so to speak. I have run across several agents in my listing agreements, and what I've done is create kind of a, I belong to the Point West Country Club, and I created kind of a, hey ladies, let's go out and have a drink, let's go to bingo night, and I've been inviting them. I haven't really been saying anything about coming over to Exit. I'm building the relationship first before I hit them over the head. But that's one of the things that I do. I do have a question though. If this is not the right time, Rob, just tell me. We'll talk later.
Sure.
I do have 3 agents, one in Georgia, one in Kentucky, and one in Tennessee. 2 of those people are already going through the real estate course, and I've connected them with the brokers on the other end.
Yeah.
One of them hasn't started. Is that all I need to do, or do you need to be involved?
I do not need to be involved when it's another brokerage.
Okay.
But what I would recommend is make sure that your sponsor puts your name down as the sponsor when they're going through their interview process.
Right.
And also make sure that you have some sort of documented, like an email or something to that broker introducing your sponsor and the broker. So that way, it's all kind of connected.
Do you as my broker get any residuals from that?
No,
Okay.
which is fine. And that's not the point of the residuals, is for you, not for us, which is great. So the point when you recruit into our company, then obviously we have another agent that is producing revenue, and you as a sponsor has a vested interest. So you're going to help that person, get up to speed on what they need in the industry. So it kind of works out.
The one that's going through the course in Georgia also wants to get her Florida license, and at that point, I will pull her in to you.
Nice.
Perfect.
Okay.
And that would be great. And yeah, we do have agents that work in multiple states now. So
Okay.
Yeah.
that's definitely a process we're familiar with, and it's great.
Bonnie-
The other thing, the last 8 simple approaches.
Hold on, wait,
continue
but
'cause
Bonnie,
we
just write a quick
coming up
email.
on-
Just write a quick email to the broker and just say, I'd like to sponsor this person into the company. Please set up a time, or what, just set up a time to, here's this contact information.
Okay, yeah, I've done that, but I'll follow up again.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, all right.
So there's one thing on the 8 simple approaches on that last slide. The last part was, and this is one that I want to focus on because Colleen and I actually had some success on it, and it helped us develop some good relationships, is the pop by and the open houses. So Colleen and I would go out on a Sunday and we would just go to random open houses and just go introduce ourselves to the agents. Now we weren't poaching at that time. We were just kind of looking to develop the relationships and seeing who was out there and what we liked. So it wasn't like we were going and being like, oh, we want you to come work for us, and they're working an open house for another company. But we would go and we develop relationships, and we learned a lot about some of the other companies. They were very open as to what their brokerages offered and that kind of thing. So that's a cool way. And within the Exit formula, if you wanted to do something like that, for instance, like Bonnie and Bernadette, I know you like going and doing some things together. If you go and tag team open houses, you can actually split the sponsorship 5 and 5. So if you get that agent to come over, you can each get 5% instead of the full 10. So we can work it out that way. We can't split it more than 2 ways, but we can split it 2 ways if we need to do that 5 and 5. So that's a good fun thing because you're getting to know different areas, you're getting to know different communities, and you're also now getting to know different agents. So it kind of serves a lot of different purposes. So we are going to skip towards the end, Colleen, because we have 2 minutes left.
But have
So
everyone
you want to go through this?
fill this out? Yeah, so if you guys can just write this down, the total number of members that obviously you can read it. You've sponsored into Exit so far.
What are your goals basically for sponsoring? So just fill in the blanks, and then we can send this out so you can actually fill in the numbers and have it with you, but if you want to fill in the blanks right now, just take 1 minute to do it. And then we'll be good.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear people's, sorry, and if you guys have to go, definitely, by all means, feel free to leave. But I
Yeah,
want
we'll let you go in 1 minute.
to hear how everyone's doing, like, who's really is driven to sponsor someone, who really wants to bring someone in. Anyone? I mean, yeah, I'm gonna get someone this week, but but anyone else? All right.
Yeah, if JT was on the call, his hand would be up too. We
Yeah.
do have a lot of people actively trying to sponsor, which is great. Timmy's been actively giving us some leads and whatnot as well. Kim, Bonnie, I mean, you guys have all talked about it. Heather's brought some people to the table. So you guys are all doing a really good job of introducing. So we appreciate that, and we definitely want you to keep going, because I think it's it's twofold for us. It definitely helps with our relationship with you, and it helps your relationship then with the new agent, and it kind of creates that cool teamwork environment, and we're all helping each other succeed and grow. So I like it from a lot of different standpoints, and I would love to see every agent get that residual income start coming in sooner rather than later. So
Yeah, and I'll just explain
Great.
this real quick. The last couple people I've brought in, one wasn't getting any support at EXP, and she just needed a broker that she can pick up the phone and call. Another one, his broker did something shady with the commission slip and cut him out of a couple deals, like rental. And it's just like, this is ridiculous. Like, it wasn't supposed to be half of how he broke it down into crazy numbers. Like, you'll be making more with us. So it's just really good. I'm just asking what's going on. How do you like where you are? And then interjecting how exit's better.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we'll end with this. The one thing that we can see as a common thread after meeting with all these agents is the level of support that we offer you guys, whether it's from the corporate standpoint or even our local standpoint, just the access and the ease of access to myself or Colleen. We just apparently, it just seems like we have that going for us, where most brokerages do not. Most brokerages don't even have a broker that they know who that broker is, or who they need to be talking to. They have middle management or whatever. So when you're talking to people and they're kind of giving you these pain points, those are some questions you can open with. Be like, oh, how's the access to your broker? Or how's, when you have a question that needs to be answered, how quick does it get turned around? Because as all of you pretty much know, I mean, you have an answer within the hour. I mean, and it doesn't matter what the question is, what the level of the question is. It just, we definitely work really hard to make sure we are a strong resource for you. And that seems to be a very big differentiator from most other brokerages around us. So, but it's 12:37. We're definitely 2 minutes over when we actually officially started the training. So no one has to stay on. We're going to end it here. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'll hang out for any questions. I do have another meeting at 12:45, so it's going to be brief, but thank you, everyone, and have a great week.